I'm going to do a little bit of prep work, and then we're going to play around with a kick through and a wild thing. And we're going to go for a couple of reps on this one, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. Well, then we'll move on to the next part of the session. So the first thing that I want us to be able to do is I want us to be able to push up into our downward facing dog. Take the right leg up and make a three-legged down dog. Then, when we scooch the leg underneath towards the left elbow, touch. Then I want to take it back up in the air. Back for my three-legged down dog. So now I'm going to bring that knee back underneath again, but this time I'm coming for the left wrist. Touch. Back up. Three-legged down dog. Now I come through for the right wrist. Touch. Back up for three-legged down dog. And once more for the right elbow. And touch. Take the three-legged down dog up. This time, we're going to scoop underneath towards the left elbow. And then when we touch, we want to straighten that leg out. Draw it back in. Come back for the three-legged down dog. And now we're going to open out into our wild thing. I want 3 points of contact for this. The temptation gets to lift the other leg up. I want the connection on this. So we've got this nice twist through the body. Hand comes back down. Lower the foot down. Bring the knees to the floor. Child's pose. From child's pose, we slide forwards into our cobra or up dog, whichever one's more comfortable. Flip the toes, and then we're going to come for our downward facing dog. The left leg, we're going to pick up the three-legged down dog. So this time we bring the knee under towards the right elbow, touch. Back for three-legged down dog. Now we come under for the right wrist, touch. Back up for three-legged down dog. Now we come for the left wrist, three-legged down dog. Then we come for the left elbow, three-legged down dog. Now we come back towards the right elbow, straighten the leg out. Now we draw back in, we come up for our three-legged down dog, and we explore our wild thing. I love this position. And some yoga teachers don't like it. I love it. I think it's very well. Love it. Then we're going to return back through, and we're going to have a little rest, because now we've got two choices. Oh. So what we need to remember is that the horse stance is our foundation, okay? And we get a lot of stuff about Kung Fu practice taken out of context. So for instance, standing here is in a nice sitting hold for 5 minutes. It's not easy. And don't worry, we're not going to do it for 5 minutes. We're going to do it for 4.5 minutes. That's to strengthen the leg muscles. It strengthens the leg muscles above and below the knee. This then starts to increase that, because you're also engaging your corset. You're making sure that that's all nice and strong. Because what this is doing is it's building your foundation. And it's building you a foundation so that you can, if you're not able to get out and practice, you can practice. And if it means that you just go, do you know what, I'm going to go through sitting horse. I'm going to do sitting horse for 5 minutes, 3 times throughout the day. So from here, and this is really important, when we're working to the front, we first of all have to make sure that we define our center line. So the elbow comes into the solar plexus. This hand is sat on the hips at the side. And there's a lot of different reasons why this is sat on the side. If you imagine I'm getting strangled here, and if I now go, whoosh, I've already done a release. I've prepared my fists to the hip, and then I'm ready to fire them out. So there's a lot more going on in this thing. A lot of people who watch other martial arts, like the katas in karate, they don't understand what's going on because they haven't got a martial practice. Elbow in. We push out to the front. It extends, and at the last moment, that fist corkscrews in. We then open the hand and draw it back in and switch the other hand over and punch. And we're just going to take our time with this and link it to our breath. And we're going to go for 10 of them. This is our full, this is my full. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now feel free to rest, to shake, and return to this. But remember, this will pass. It will go eventually when he turns the video off. So these 10 punches that have been coming out, not suggesting for 1 minute that somebody comes to be mean to you, that you take signals and you go poof, poof, and you do your 10 punches. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's the practice. And it's great when you've got a square full of people and they can all practice from this posture. So the next thing I want us to think about is if I bring this hand into the center line, so this is my right hand, I've got my left hand on my hip, or rather on my waist, because my hip isn't where my hand is at all, is it really? What I want to do with this right hand now, as I turn the shoulders, I want to push it across to the left side of my body. And then I'm going to bring this hand across to the right side of my body. Then I'm going to return to the center, switch hands. So I push the left hand out to the right side. And then I'm going to draw back across to the opposite side. And then come back down to the hip. So what have I just done there? Footwork is so important, and I wouldn't suspect, although I'm sure it can be done, that you would be able to go block, 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 block. Because I would still like you to be moving your feet. You can see the difference in what I've just done there. Yeah, it's so clear. But this makes a great exercise. So now, if I bring my right hand in to the solar plexus, I push out with my punch, crack. This hand now is already out. So now if I imagine that somebody's throwing a punch at me, I can twist that hand to one side, bring it across to the other side, and then fire the other fist out. Boom. The left hand drops back in to the right side, comes across the body, punches out. So what starts to happen is that this block, block, punch becomes a linked action. I don't want it to go too quick though. I want to spend a little bit of time with a stop at each one. So when I now drop this hand into the right side to do my block, I'm going to just hold it for a moment. Then I come across to the left side, hold it, and then straighten the punch out. Right arm drops in, ping, across, ping, and then punch, ping. And that's me imagining the bell that I'm so desperately after finding. It's not going to be easy to get a Buddhist monk to just tap us. Bing, bing, punch.